Okay, hello Cloud Gurus and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture we're going to learn about S3 security as well as encryption. So we learned in the last lecture that by default all buckets when we create them are private, and that was those four little checkboxes. And you can set up access control to your buckets using bucket policies and access control lists. Now bucket policies work at a bucket level, whereas access control lists go all the way down to individual objects. And S3 buckets can be configured to create access logs, which logs all the requests made to your S3 bucket. So if someone tries to access an object, that is going to be logged. And this can be sent to another bucket or even another bucket in another account. So if you want to log who's accessing your objects in your S3 bucket, you can definitely do that. And you can store those logs in an S3 bucket in your primary AWS account, or you can actually set it up in a different AWS account. And so this is really important to understand the two different types of encryption, because you will be tested on this in the exam. So there's encryption in transit. Now, whenever you go and visit a website, if you're going to HTTPS, it means that the traffic is going to be encrypted in transit. So basically, between your computer and the server, that traffic is encrypted. No one who's eavesdropping on that will be able to break it and understand what you're looking at. That's why we use HTTPS. So encryption in transit is always achieved by SSL or TLS, as it's also referred to. So that's whenever you're browsing using HTTPS, that is encryption at transit. Encryption at rest is where we encrypt the data that's being stored. So let's say we have a Word document that's being stored on a hard disk drive. If there's no encryption at rest and somebody steals that hard disk drive, they will be able to access that Word document. So I'm talking about encryption at rest in terms of the way it works with S3. There's two different ways that we can do this. We can do it on the server side, or we can do it on the client side. The server side is where Amazon help you encrypt the object, and on the client side, it's where you encrypt the object and then upload it to S3. So let's look at it on the server side, and there's three different types. There's S3 managed keys. This is where Amazon manage the keys for you automatically, so you don't need to worry about the keys at all. When we talk about keys, a key is just a way of encrypting the object and then decrypting it. So it's just like you would use a key with a lock. So this is where Amazon manage all the keys. So that's S3 managed keys. It's sometimes referred to as SSE S3, which is server-side encryption S3. We then have AWS Key Management Service. This is where you and Amazon manage the keys together, and this is called Managed Keys Server-Side Encryption with KMS. And then we have server-side encryption with customer-provided keys. This is where you actually give Amazon your own keys that you manage, and you can encrypt your S3 objects doing that as well. And then, like I said, you can actually encrypt the object yourself on the client side. So you might do this on your Mac or your PC or whatever, and then you upload that object to S3. So there's four ways of really doing encryption. There's server-side encryption. So we've got SSE S3, SSE KMS, and SSE customer managed keys or customer provided keys. And then we also have encryption using client-side encryption, where you basically encrypt the object and then upload it to S3. So let's go ahead and have a look at how we can do this in the AWS console. I'm in the AWS console. If we want to go to S3, it's always under storage. So just go ahead and click in there. And we've got the bucket that we created in the last lecture. If we click in the bucket, we can go and click on our individual objects, and we can go and change the encryption by clicking in here. And here you can see we've got AES 256, or we can start using the AWS KMS service, and we can use our own custom keys, or we can use the AWS provided keys. So those are the three different types. Now, KMS is really beyond the scope of this course. We do cover it in an awful lot of detail in the Certified Security Specialty course. I highly recommend getting the Certified Security Specialty certificate. Who doesn't want to be secure in the AWS cloud? It is really valuable. So maybe check that out once you've passed your Solutions Architect Associate exam. So I'm going to click on AES 256, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and I'm going to go ahead and hit change. And that is it. It is simple. It is that easy. You can see in here it's been 100% success. Again, if I uncheck this and check on it again, you'll be able to see that it is now encrypted. So in the unlikely event that somebody was to run into or break into AWS's data center and somehow get a hard disk drive, my file was on that drive, they would not be able to decrypt this file. They can only decrypt it by using the AWS key. So that is it for this lecture, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, feel free to move on to the next lecture. Thank you.